welcome to episode 117 of the So Video Games podcast, where we talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. If we are playing it, we will be talking about it. Today we are recording on February 4th, 2019. The year that was January has finally ended, and it is now the beginning of February. Also 10 days from Valentine's Day, which is something I forget about as I get older. But anyway, my name is Corey Motley. I'm a staff writer at Game Critics. I'm also 50% of this show. Joining me, as always, is my lovable partner in crime, Brad Galloway. He is the editor of Game Critics. How are you, Brad?
In addition to being the cutest criminal ever, I am also fine.
I'm offended. I wanted to be the cutest criminal ever.
There can only be one. It's just like the Highlander.
Okay, fine. You can take it. That's fine.
Because otherwise, I mean, one of us is going to have to cut the other's head off, and I don't really want to go there, so.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
Moving on.
Yes, do you have... I heard... You have some housekeeping notes for the show this week?
A couple, yeah. Usually I'm good on the housekeeping. I keep a pretty tidy house, but we've got some stuff to tidy up this week. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way. So just as kind of an FYI to the listeners, I'm about to start a huge project at work. I'm not going to talk about it very much, but just as a quick heads up, I am working on Romeo and Juliet, which is going to be playing at the ACT Theater in Seattle in March. So we're starting rehearsals and pre-production, PR and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be behind the scenes working on that. It's going to be a pretty fantastic play. If you are in the Pacific Northwest, or you will be around March, please come and check it out. It's going to be, I guarantee, and this is not hyperbole, this will be unlike any Romeo and Juliet that you have ever seen, and hopefully this one will be kind of a standard set for the future. But I'm going to be doing that for the next at least month solid. Going to be working mad hours every day, basically 6 days a week. So we're still going to be able to record. Luckily, Mondays are my one day off, and that's usually the day when we're recording lately. So I think that'll be fine. But I just wanted to give a heads up to people. I'm probably not going to have a lot of time to actually play anything. I think that's really the challenge. So we're still going to record. There's no plan to like put it on hiatus or anything. You can still look forward to weekly episodes. And I mean, Corey might have to do some of the heavy lifting as far as gameplay goes, and we may end up just doing a lot more banter for the next 4 shows, or maybe we'll just do a lot more Q&A or something. I mean, I don't know. I'm still going to try to play games when I can, but I know what it's like from having been on productions like this before. I'm probably not going to get a lot of game time in, and I don't want to deliver a show that's not good. I want to keep bringing the content to our listeners that they like every week, but just straight up, folks, expect a little bit less new games talk for the next 4 weeks. We'll do our best. And at the end of February, things will lighten up and we'll go back to business as usual. So, any thoughts, Corey?
I have been thinking recently, and I haven't disclosed this to you because it's been like one of those very brainstormy, just like tiny thought in my head and not anything that I thought was serious enough to act upon. But maybe this is a good time to bring it up. It occurred to me that maybe, and I'm not saying we have to do this, I was just kind of thinking about it in my head. There's always room for us to introduce like a new segment into the show, or like a new like thing that we talk about weekly, whether it's like new news and we like, kind of talk about some game news that's been happening, or, if we do like a Q&A for every episode or something like that. So I was like thinking about that the other day in case like either of us are ever light on games, because especially I know lately I basically have been playing Resident Evil like almost exclusively for the past like 2 weeks, and I obviously can't come to the show week after week after week and be like, oh, here's my Resident Evil 2 update, because that would be boring. And plus I'm waiting, you're currently playing it right now, so we're going to do kind of a deep dive later whenever you're finished. So like, I don't know if you have any ideas, or listeners, if you guys have any ideas about maybe like segments that you would want us to do, or like anything interesting you would like us to talk about that we could kind of bring back like weekly or bi-weekly or anything like that, please let us know. I mean, we obviously can never guarantee that we'll be able to do it, or that it'll be something that we would personally be interested in. But if you have any brainstorming ideas or anything, please let us know, because we're always game to like mix up the show format a little bit and try new things. So, maybe we could try something like that in the future.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. If anybody listening has thoughts or something you'd like us to talk about, or topics, or a new segment. I'm always up for a new segment if it's something that we can do or something that's interesting, people like to listen to. So anybody that has any ideas, please let us know. And I mean, in the next 4 weeks, I guarantee we're going to be hurting for content because, just because of the way things are falling in real life. So we will do our best. But everybody needs a helping hand once in a while. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about, let us know and we'll see what happens. I mean, but regardless of all that stuff, we'll still do shows. We'll still get the content out. I mean, that's not going to stop. It just, we may not have like a dozen new games to talk about a week, so we'll see what happens. So that was agenda item number 1. The other agenda item, just really quickly, just a brief mention. We don't often do breaking news here on the show, but we do have a little bit of breaking news that just happened today. The people who Respawn Entertainment, who are responsible for Titanfall and Titanfall 2, which are 2 of my son's most favorite games in the whole world, and which games I've also actually enjoyed quite a bit myself. We were wondering what they were going to do next. We didn't know what was in store for them. Titanfall 3, something else entirely. They have just come out today, literally released today with exactly 2 days worth of PR. I first heard about this on Saturday, this past Saturday. Now it's Monday. So literally 48 hours of a little bit of PR and boom, the game is out. It's called Apex Legends. It's available on PC, PS4, Xbox One, literally right now. It's only been out for a couple hours as of the time we're recording this. My son is downloading it as we speak. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I will. Apparently, it is a free-to-play battle royale, which does not have giant mech suits, which I think a lot of people were surprised by, but I think it does have the same kind of parkour, jetpacky, wall running sort of action that it was known for when you were not inside of a Titan, and I don't know much more about it other than that. I don't know if it's in the same universe as Titanfall. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know what the in-app purchases are going to be like. I don't know what the structure is going to be like other than the fact that it's some kind of a battle royale. Basically, I know nothing about it except for, hey, here it is, literally right now, available for download, out of the blue. Total surprise. So I will download it after the show and check it out. I'm sure my son is going to check it out too. Corey, is this something that you'd be interested in poking around?
I am normally not up for stuff like this, but given that it's free to play and it kind of takes place in the Titanfall universe, which I loved Titanfall 2, so I think this might actually be, I really have nothing to lose, I guess is what I should say here. So I will probably download it. I'll give it a shot. Who knows, maybe if our schedules line up, you and I can try it together or something like that, and we can kind of bring it to the show and talk about our experience with it. But yeah, I think, I've got nothing to lose for this, so I might as well download it and give it a shot in the future.
All right, I'm going to download it. You download it. My son will download it. Maybe I'll get the wife to download it. Maybe we'll get together. Maybe we won't. Who knows? But it's free, so nothing's really lost except for the time it takes to download. I'm guessing maybe we'll talk about it next week since we'll probably be hurting for topics. So I guess we'll have an update. But it's pretty rare that a game drops basically out of the blue like this. So I don't know if that's a show of strength and confidence or if that's we're sending this out to die. Who knows? Who knows? But we'll find out, and I like you. I also really greatly enjoyed Titanfall 2, so I'm hoping for the best for these guys. We'll see what happens. But more to come, and that is the end of my housekeeping. Thank you for bearing with me with that segment there, and we can roll on with the show.
All right, let's do it. I have no housekeeping this week, which is weird because I'm always the one that brings dumb housekeeping to the show. But none this week. All we have is smart housekeeping for the show this week because it's all stuff that you said, and now we're going to move on to games chat. Brad, I feel like for most of this games chat, you and I are pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing where it's like, oh, I played a game for 10 minutes and then didn't really like it and I'm done playing it. But I don't want to pre-plan the stuff that you're going to talk about. So you've got the floor first. So what do you want to talk about first?
Well, I think that you are 99% accurate. The only thing that you are not accurate about is this very first one I'm going to talk about, which I actually did like. The rest of them I'm going to be dumping on pretty hardcore. So you were actually not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't play a lot of mobile games lately because I have Marvel Puzzle Quest, which, honestly, the more mobile games I play, the better Puzzle Quest seems, just because of how generous it is and how smartly designed it is and how you can drop in and out. It basically fills all of my mobile needs. But every once in a while, I will do everything on Puzzle Quest, and there's nothing really for me to do for another day or so. You finish the events, or there's nothing, no contests going on, or you'll hit a lull once in a while, and that's fine. I don't need to play it all the time. But I'm like, I need to have some kind of a backup mobile game for when I get stuck at work or when I'm, just somewhere and I need to kill 5 or 10 minutes. I got to have something to do. And I was poking around the Google Play Store because I'm on an Android phone now. This made the switch a while ago. I think we talked about that a couple episodes ago. And I found a game called ENYO, ENYO. It is kind of hard to describe. It's not a roguelike at all, but it's just a game where you play, I don't know, kind of like a Greek-themed soldier warrior kind of a dude. It's very simple. It's 2D graphics. The size of your phone screen is one entire map, so there's nothing off of your phone that you can't see. And it's kind of like a slash between puzzle and combat. So your guy, they kind of looks like if you look at a Greek vase, when you see like the art style that's on the side of a Greek vase, like the 2D black kind of silhouette shapes, like very stylized, artistic that you would find on a vase that's like 2,000 years old. It kind of looks like that. So it's got a cool little aesthetic to it. And basically, you get dropped into these rooms, which have little squares that you have to walk around and little pits of lava and stuff. And the point is you need to kill all of the enemies in the room. And your dude has a shield that he can run forward, hold the shield in front of him, and he'll push dudes into spikes or he'll push them into lava. He's got a grappling hook so he can pull them into a lava pit if he's standing on the opposite side of it. Like he'll drag them into the lava. He can jump, and when he lands, he will stun people. And he can also throw his shield. That's literally all you can do. Four motions, that's all you got. Throw the shield, jump, and stun, grappling hook, and shield charge. So there's a whole bunch of monsters in there. There's like a little minotaur. There's like a Greek soldier kind of guy. I think there's like a Medusa. Like it all goes with the Greek theme, which is pretty cool. I'm kind of down with that. And basically, you just have to figure out how to get all these guys dead. I mean, it's turn by turn, turn-based. And so after you take your turn, everybody else in the level takes their turn. And so it's all about positioning and trying to bait people into walking into a bad position for them so that you can drag them in lava or push them into spikes or something. It's very simple. It's very simple to understand. Like, it only takes like 2 minutes to learn the rules. And it's very easy to comprehend because it's small. Each level is the size of your phone, and there's not much on the screen. Graphics are simple. There's nothing to manage. There's no menus or anything. So it's all very easy to grok. But it's hard. It's incredibly hard. The point of it is to complete 10 levels, and then you win the game. And I have gotten as far as 3. I have not gotten any further than 3 levels. I'm still playing a little bit every night, but man, it is really tough. Like, you really have to think a couple of moves ahead, so it's very chess-like. And you have to think about, well, what's the best move that I can do? Should I grapple this guy? But if I grapple this guy, then that's going to put me in a position over here, and then this guy's going to shoot me. Okay, well, that's not a good thing. But if I shield charge, that'll get rid of this guy, but then my back's exposed to the guy behind me. And so you're constantly like kind of thinking about scenarios of what's the best move, where you're going to end up when the move is over, how many guys can you take out in one move. And, it's very cerebral despite looking so simple on the surface. So I like it a lot. I play maybe 2-3 rounds a night. I don't really get very far, but I enjoy what I play because I feel like it's deep enough to where my brain is really being challenged, but it's simple enough that it's a good fit for a phone. Like, you don't have to manage anything. You don't have to remember where you left off. You don't have to, you don't forget the story because there is no story. It's just a really cool feeling, well put together puzzle/combat game. I think I bought it for like $1 or $2 or something, and it was definitely worth it. And it has earned a permanent place on my phone, at least until I finish it, which could potentially be never. So it may be on my phone for eternity. But I like it a lot. I think it's really good if you like grappling hooks, if you like puzzle/combat games, if you want something that's a good fit for a phone. I dig it. I like it a lot. Probably will never beat it, but I like it. So that, once again, that's ENYO, ENYO. Corey, thoughts?
Brad, I have a secret to tell you.
Did you make this game?
No, I didn't. I'm not smart enough to make this game.
Oh, okay. What's your secret then?
While you were talking about this game, I downloaded it on my phone and I've already been playing it.
Oh, shit. Did you get 2 rounds in while I was talking?
I'm in the tutorial right now. Cause I was like, I just want to see if it's on the Apple App Store. And it was, and it's it has in-app purchases, but it's like free initially whenever you download it. And I was like, well, it's
It
free.
does?
So, I mean,
What?
well, I don't know if it does, but it says like free with in-app purchases or something.
Weird. Because I looked, I didn't see any in-app purchases in the Android store. I wonder if it's different on iPhone. Or maybe I missed
I don't know.
something.
I could be mistaken. I'm not sure.
Oh, anyway. So, all right. So you're looking at it. Do you feel like I did a pretty okay description?
I feel like you did an excellent job describing it. The thing that I don't have a ton of experience with mobile games, but the thing that whenever you were talking about it, I was thinking like, oh, so you have to think about it kind of like chess. So then you were like, oh, it's like chess, and I was like, oh, perfect. That's exactly what I was thinking. But it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Hitman Go in a way too, because you have to like think about. Like, I mean, that's all about like movement and puzzle, and have to think ahead. You have to think like 3 moves ahead of what you want to do, rather than just like every single move you do, which is good because I like those kind of games, but it's bad because I'm bad at them because I'm not good at like planning that kind of stuff, like that many moves ahead or something like that. But I don't know. I'm like literally looking at it on my phone right now, and I just hooked a dude into a lava pit, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I mean, it has a grappling hook, and that's like one of your number one things. But does it have a jetpack?
I don't think it has a jetpack. I think that would be a little much to ask because it would have the classic Greek theme plus a grappling hook plus a jetpack. I mean, that would be the best game ever made. I don't think that they're going to do that. But dink around with it. Let me know what you think. Definitely chess-like. Definitely need to move a couple moves ahead. I am not great at those games either. And like I said, I haven't gotten past level 3, but I've really been enjoying it. I think it's worth a download, and it seems like a very quality purchase. I've been through a lot of shit on the mobile store lately. I've downloaded and instantly deleted so many games. This is one of the only ones where I'm like, okay, this actually seems like a legit game. This actually seems like something that has some design to it. This actually seems like it has something that has some thought to it. Oh my God, if you had seen how many games I've been through, to find even one that's even remotely okay is like finding a proverbial needle in a haystack. So I'm very happy that I found ENYO, and I'm still going to plink away at it. And like I said, I may never finish it, but I definitely enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Maybe we can do a follow-up next episode or something.
We can do a spoilery deep dive on ENYO, because I'm sure there's a lot of story to be spoiled in it, right?
Oh, God. All the dramatic turns once you're at level 6. You won't believe what happens.
Oh, my God.
All right, let me jump ahead to my other game here real quickly. This is going to be so every other game for the rest of this episode is something that I don't care for. So just putting that out there on Front Street. The next one I picked up was Salaryman Escape. Salaryman Escape. This was originally a VR title, and then it got a flat mode later on because apparently they did not sell enough with PSVR. So it's something that very much caught my attention. I had been looking at it in the store for a long time because the aesthetic is really cool. Like, you have this kind of abstract levels that look like they're kind of made of Jenga blocks. And you have a guy who is a salaryman, a Japanese salaryman. Which, if people don't know, I mean, I'm sure most people listening to the show know, but like in Japan, it's kind of like this whole thing where you're like one of these million middle management drones where you just like slave your whole life away, and you wear a business suit and tie, and you're really like unfulfilled. And you don't have any power to move up, and you can't quit, and like it seems like a really hopeless existence, the way that it's portrayed here in the West. I mean, maybe there's more to that trope in Japan, but that's kind of like how people use it here in the West. So you are a salaryman who wants to escape his life, escape his job, or just escape. So it's a puzzle game, and what you do is you start at the beginning of a level, and like each level is like I said, it looks like it's made of Jenga blocks, kind of. You have to get to the exit. There's always an exit door. And you can rotate the blocks around. You can like look up and look down and look from any angle. So, imagine this with a PSVR helmet where you should be, tilting your head or kind of getting a good look at it. What you have to do is you have to pull out the right Jenga block at the wrong time in order to make the other Jenga blocks fall. And then it will, if you do it correctly, it will create a path for the salaryman to escape. Now, he cannot jump, so it has to be either small stairs or a ramp, and there cannot be any gaps because he won't be able to get over those. There has to be a clear path from the beginning to the exit in order for him to escape. So it really hooked me right away just from looking at it because I like the idea of it. The visuals are very cool, very minimalist. I like the aesthetic of it. It actually reminded me a lot of Intelligent Cube, which we talked about when we talked about the PS1 micro console. Remember when we did the game-by-game breakdown of that?
Yes, I do.
Are you playing your game right now, Corey?
No, I swear I'm not.
Okay.
I might have just thrown my shield into somebody, though, and then used my hook to retrieve it.
Okay. Okay, so my first recommendation is a good one. Okay. Excellent. So, Intelligent Cube, which I discussed on the PS1 Micro Console Breakdown Show, was like an amazing puzzle game that not anybody played, nobody knew about. It had the same kind of sense of like escaping business, escaping a corporation, just escaping in general. So that must be a common theme for these kind of games. But I loved Intelligent Cube. I think it's a fantastic game. This reminded me of that a lot, like the same kind of vibe. So I started playing it, and I think I probably quit it in about 15 minutes or so. The soundtrack is wonderful. I will say it has an amazing soundtrack. I love the music, and I don't say that often, but it's got a great, funky Japanese jazz soundtrack. Very cool. But the problem is the controls are just fucked up. Like, it just does not translate well to a controller. Or to be specific, I think it could easily translate well to a controller, but the people who did it were, like, dumbasses and tried to keep, or, like, do as little work as possible. So, like, I imagine that if you had a Move controller, it would work a certain way. Or however they decided to do it. But it just doesn't work that well flat. It's hard to get things to move around. They want you to use the light on the back of your PS DualShock controller. So like the game is somehow tracking your motion with the light. And so you're using that instead of the buttons or the stick, and like use the shoulder buttons and stuff. It's a mess. It's a mess. Like, it doesn't feel good to control. The other thing that's a problem is sometimes the physics don't really seem very consistent. So like, you'll push a Jenga block some ways, and then the blocks above it will fall. That makes sense. But sometimes they don't fall, or sometimes they don't like bend the way. Like if there's one that's just hanging on by a corner, it'll stay straight, and you're like, well, I wanted this thing to tilt, but it's not tilting. And in the real world, it would tilt, but it's not tilting here. But it tilts another time, and I'm not sure exactly why. So the physics seemed kind of inconsistent, which is a real problem in a game like this because it's all about physics and moving the pieces around. The other thing was like you can get through maybe 3/4 of it, and the levels are really fast if you know what to do. So I got through about 3/4 of the game in about, like 10-15 minutes. I just blew through them one by one. But the problem is, to get to the end of the game, you have to earn these bonus coins that are scattered throughout the levels, and I had no idea how to get to them. Like, they'll be out off to the side of a map, and I have no idea how to get the guy to go out there. Like, the Jenga blocks don't seem to go out there. Like, I don't understand. Maybe there's a trick I'm missing, or maybe I'm just not smart enough. I don't know. So I wasn't able to get any of the coins that you needed to collect in order to unlock the later levels, and I couldn't unlock the later levels, so I got as far as I could get. And then I'm like, okay, this is just irritating now, and I'm not going to do it anymore, so I'm done. So I like the way it looks. I like the way it sounds. It's a cool idea, but they really should have put some more time into making it work on a flat screen. And honestly, just the game in general just seems like it needs more work. Like, it could be a really cool game if they polished it and just gave it some more time in the oven. I think it would be worth something we're talking about. But as it is now, it feels like a really quick VR kind of cash-in that just didn't quite get there for me. So unfortunately, cannot recommend that one.
Do you think it would be improved in VR or not at all?
I don't think so, because the problems that I had were mostly just the physics, and I mean, maybe the controls might be better, but I mean, there's no reason they need to be so shitty on a controller. Like, they could easily work. It's not a very complicated game, so maybe it controls better, but I don't think that otherwise the problems would be any better, because I could still see things. I mean, it wasn't like I couldn't tell where things were. It just, the physics were weird, and I don't know. I just couldn't figure out what to do to get those bonus coins, and maybe I'm just not smart enough for the game.
Oh my God, I'm always not smart enough for the game. Every game I play. I was watching a trailer for this before we started recording, and it kind of looked like it had a weird, sort of depressing, introspective, thing going on. So does it make you just want to kill yourself whenever you're playing the game?
No, I mean, it was pretty good because along with the theme of being the salaryman who wants to escape, between levels, you'll get these fake emails from PR where it's just totally crushing your soul. It's casual Friday is coming up, so please take your casual wear that we have assigned to you, and you're only allowed to wear this casual wear between these hours, and it's totally bullshitty. Just whatever awful corporate stuff comes out. It's actually pretty cool in some ways. It just doesn't play very well, and it's not fun. But the tone, the theme, the idea, the concept, the aesthetics, it's all on point. I just don't like the way it plays, which is unfortunate. So It's cute, and I mean they're trying to make a little meta point there, but I don't know.
That's
Anyway.
a bummer.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It feels like a missed opportunity, honestly. But anyway, enough of Salaryman Escape. Let's shift it over to you, Corey. You are playing a game that I've heard about a lot, but I have zero experience with. It's called Paranautical Activity. From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's some kind of a first-person shooter, but there's also kind of a roguelike element, and I think it just came to the Switch. Is that where you're playing it? What's up with Paranautical Activity?
I think you're right on every count here. I don't know when it came out because I just saw it on the Switch store and bought it. I am playing it on Switch, but it's one of those games like you talked about last week, how the Switch is always having like ball and sales on stuff. And I was looking at the sales, the weekly deals or whatnot on the Switch store, and this was like $1.50 or something, and I was like, hey,
man.
like even if a game doesn't end up being good or it's not something I'm super interested in, like I can afford to pay $1.50 for a game. So I did, and I downloaded it, and it is pretty much what you said. It's a first-person roguelite with a T, according to the game itself, where it's got kind of like old school sort of like, it kind of looks like Minecraft, like a little bit. Like really like blocky graphics. It's kind of like, Paranautical Activity, it's kind of in the theme of like paranormal stuff. There's kind of like demons in it, but they're like, obviously kind of blocky and like slightly cartoony looking. There's like these giant sort of like eyeballs with like bat wings that shoot fireballs at you. It's just sort of like that kind of like themed stuff. And whenever you start the game, you choose from different, I hesitate to say characters because it's first person, so you can't really see them. But it's like different characters, and each has their own weapon. There's 2 weapons that you have that each character has, or at least most characters have. One is like a shotgun and like a samurai sword, and one is like a sickle and like a grenade launcher or something. One is just a crossbow, and I think it's just a crossbow. I don't think there's a second weapon. And you can like switch back and forth between the weapons as you're playing, but I think you have limited ammo on the weapons. But it's just a roguelite, so it spawns you in this room. There's stuff to kill. After you kill the stuff in the room, you just kind of like move to the next room, and there's different things you unlock sort of as you play it, which I guess gives it the light versus like nature. So I don't know what it is about like first-person roguelites and roguelikes, because I feel like once every like 3 months I play a new one and I bring it to the show, and every single time I'm like, yeah, I just don't really like roguelites, and then like 3 months later I'm like, oh, guess what, I tried a new roguelite and I still don't like it. Like I don't know what it is about this genre that like makes me, I'm not even like particularly like trying to get into it. I think it was just like I saw it on the Switch store. It was really cheap, and I was like, okay, like it looks like it has kind of like neat graphics, and whatever. It's first person. I'm always interested in playing sort of like kind of like reflexy, like first person shooters on Switch, because I don't think the Switch is the best console for like very like kind of like quick tactical aiming and shooting, but I still like want to try it because maybe there will be like that one game that'll like really do it for me. So far the port of Doom has probably been the best as far as like fast shooting. It's kind of like set the standard on Switch for me. But the thing that I really don't like about this game is that it doesn't fucking tell you shit whenever you start. Like,
oh god,
it like spawns you into, you have like the title screen, and it's like you have like there's like one game mode, and there's other ones you can unlock, but I don't know how to unlock it because the game doesn't tell you how to do that. So you have the one game mode, you have like the options menu. You press the whatever starting game mode you want to play, and then you select between the characters, and I think there's only like 3 or 4 to start with. I don't know if there's more to unlock. I'm not really sure. And then it just like spawns you into the game, and then it's just like, all right, go shoot. Like it doesn't give you a tutorial on how to move, on how to jump, on how to walk, on how to shoot, on how to use your secondary weapon, on how to do anything. It just like spawns you, and then you just go. And like I'm the kind of person where, I know I've said this before on the show, where like I like a game to tell me what to do. Like at the very least, tell me what each button does when I start the game. Make me press the button one time to know what it does, and then cut me loose. Like this game doesn't even do that. There's like obviously in the options menu you can look at the control layout, but that's like the least intuitive way to remember the controls, because all you're doing is looking at a map of the controls, and then you have to like match each whatever action to each button, and then you have to remember it. It doesn't like let you practice it. So it just like spawns you in, and you can only take like a handful of hits before you die. And so it's just like, I mean, it's just a roguelite. Like you go in, you shoot a bunch of stuff, you die, and then you like start over, and then you die, and then you start over, and then you die, and then you start over. And like I tried every like layout of every weapon or every character or whatever, like probably one or two times. And like one of them, the guy's main weapon is like a grenade launcher, and it just like shoots these like bombs, and they're like really hard to aim because it's just these bombs that like lob out of it. So it was like difficult to aim them. And some of the enemies are like flying in the air, and it's like hard to like shoot a grenade that has like an arc like into the air in order to like make it land on something that's like flying. And so I was just like having a really hard time, and I would like unlock stuff. Like I did a room, and I killed everything in it without taking any damage. And it was like, oh, you unlocked whatever this thing, you know, for not taking damage, almost like an achievement or something. But I don't know like what the thing does or how to get it, or if there are like item chests somewhere, or if it just tells me that I unlocked it just to let me know that I unlocked it and doesn't like actually do anything. So like I unlocked a few things, and I was like, okay, this is all like well and good, but like what does this mean? Like what am I supposed to be doing? Like is this like an item I can use? Is this something I can pick up? Like I'm just not really sure what is going on here. And so, and like the other weird thing is like you have, if you're holding the Switch with the regular controllers like on the sides, the Joy-Cons, you have the R and the L buttons, which are the shoulder buttons, and then you have ZR and ZL, which are like the R2 and the L2 of the controller. 99% of games out there should be 100%. The ZR and the ZL should be the shoot buttons.
Which are the triggers.
Yeah, which are the triggers, just like in R2 or L2. For some stupid reason in this game, the R and the L, like the R button is the shoot button, and it feels so weird and unintuitive to press the R button to shoot. Like it sounds like such a dumb thing, but it just doesn't feel right pressing that button to shoot. And the game does not have remappable controls, so you're stuck with the controls that it gives you. I mean, at least it lets you invert the y-axis. Like, thank God you can do that. But like, you can't move the controls. Like, I feel like maybe I would have liked the game like a tiny bit better if I could have like used the ZR, or the right trigger, if you will, to at least shoot, because the right bumper or the R button is usually like, I don't know, like a sub weapon or like a reload or a, you know, something like that, or like a weapon wheel, and it just feels weird to use that to shoot. And so like I played it for probably about 20 minutes. I think I probably died about 6 or 7 times. I think I only got about 4 rooms deep on my best one, because it's kind of one of those games too where you like spawn into the first room and it has like pretty like easy enemies. And then like the second room is like a boss room. And I'm like, okay, like can we like slow your roll a little bit here? Like you don't even tell me what any of the buttons do. You don't give me any kind of tutorial at all. And then like 30 seconds into the game, I'm in this like big ridiculous boss room with these like flying bat eyeballs that are shooting like fireballs at me. And it's just like, I don't know, it's too much. Like this is not giving me hope that I will ever be into this genre. And I mean, I'm glad that it was only like $1.50 on the Switch store, because that feels like about how much it's worth to me. And I probably will never, ever play this again. It's just like not, I mean, on one hand, it's not my genre, despite the fact that I try to get into it. But on the other hand, it just like doesn't tell you anything about the game. It doesn't give you any kind of tutorial. It doesn't give you any measure of progress that you're making. Like it doesn't give you anything. So you just die and you respawn. And then that's, I don't know. I just like, it's not enough for me. And I don't like it. I don't like the controls. It doesn't feel tight enough for me. It's too hard because I'm a big baby and I don't play games like this. So yeah, Paranautical Activity, unfortunately, I'm just not into this, and I have to give it a pretty big thumbs down.
Not surprised to hear that. I looked at it myself a number of times because, you know, I'm an addict of anything roguelike or roguelite. But I will be perfectly honest, and this may make some people upset. I can't think of a single one that is taken from the first-person perspective that I've enjoyed or that I thought was done well. People want to do this, like they want to keep making these, and it's almost like the first person roguelike or roguelite is kind of becoming like the multiplayer party game of the indie scene, where like you make them, but nobody really likes them, and none of them are really that great, but they keep coming out because I think they're just easy to make. So I don't like a lot of these, and I think it's really difficult. If anybody listening has a really, really, really good one that comes from the first person perspective, like, let me know, and I guarantee I'll try it, because I like the genre of the lights and the likes, but I just don't think it really works that well with first person. I could be wrong. I'm open to being proven wrong, but I haven't seen anything so far. I looked at Paranautical. It looked really kind of just not great to me because, I don't know, just, not the blockiness. I mean, the blockiness is fine, but just for the things that you mentioned, I'm like, oh, I bet this one does this. I bet this one does that. And like what you're telling me kind of proved me right. If I'm ever going to do a roguelike or a light, I like the top down. There's certain criteria, like top down, there has to be some kind of like learning curve. There has to be like a little bit of tutorial. Like they got to get you into it a little bit. I mean, I think just the whole, hey dude, I made this thing and like just start it and play it, okay? Like, no, it doesn't work for me. Like you need to like put a little bit more time and effort into it. So I'm not surprised. I don't blame you. I gave this one a pass a while ago. I heard some people talking about it, but it was kind of the usual indie crowd of where they're kind of cheerleading for any indie game without really being too particular about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not really hearing the good buzz on this one. So sorry, but at least it was $1.50. That was good evidence of those bananas fucking Switch sales, dude. I mean, $1.50 for any game these days is pretty crazy. So the fact that something was that cheap, even though it sucked, still pretty cool that you can get a game for that cheap on the Switch. So, sorry. Oh well. Let's see. Let me take over the reins here for a minute. I have another couple quick dismissals. I was going through my queue at GameFly. You have GameFly. I know you do, right?
Yeah, I do.
I know you do. We are actually sponsored by GameFly, or at least I wish we were. So I was going through the GameFly queue, upcoming games as I do, and I'm like, oh, just kind of picking things out at random, like whatever looked good to me, just because. And so I got sent a copy of Deathmark, which was on the PS4. I didn't know anything about it. It's something about the cover must have caught my attention 6 months ago. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember why I picked it. Just random, because I like to be surprised sometimes. So they sent it. And kind of like you said, any game that does not walk you into it really gets off on a bad way for me. And this one is one of those. Actually, the next game I'm going to talk about does the exact same thing. Developers, please put some fucking tutorials in your games. Like, don't be animals. Just put some tutorials in. Just help us out a little bit. So I didn't even know what this was. It turns out it is a visual novel. I had no idea. I was expecting maybe a JRPG or maybe like some kind of a side scroller. I had no idea. So you begin the game looking at a couple of teenage girls walking home talking about a ghost story. You're not sure who you are. And then all of a sudden you're in a mansion. And then it's dark and it's spoopy and you're like, who am I? What's going on? Where am I? I don't know what's going on. And then you're talking to a mannequin and she's like, oh, you've got the death mark and you're going to die. And you forgot your memories and now you need to solve the mystery. And I'm like, what kind of game is this? What am I even playing? Like, who am I? What are the mechanics? What's the story? I got no clue. So I did some research. And apparently this is a pretty well-liked visual novel if you travel in those circles. I had never heard of it before. I didn't know even what genre it was. But a lot of people said that this was a cool game if you got into it. I deleted it like maybe 14 minutes later, and I didn't get any further. So full disclosure, I didn't know it was a or a visual novel, so I don't think I was in the mood for that. I'm going to be very honest. That's not what I was in the market for at that time. Apparently it's pretty long, like 30, 35 hours. Definitely not in the mood for that. So that was one thing, and I own that. But also, like, no tutorial, no explanation. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the setup, and just being launched into this story. Like, what am I supposed to care about? Like, I don't even know what even the premise is. And I have to say, this is probably going to lose us some listeners, but like, I am so over like the whole anime aesthetic, just that whole thing, that art style, the tones, the themes, the tropes. I'm sick of all of it. Like, I just don't want to deal with it anymore because so much of it is derivative. So much of it is boring. So much of it is just really just not entertaining in any way. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, I try to stay away from this stuff. And, starting off with some high school girls, and then there's like just the whole super melodramatic and you're gonna play this game for a bunch of hours and just get through the story. I was like, nah, I'm just not even gonna deal with this at all. I'm not even gonna bother. So I just kicked it out. I mean, maybe if it had started off in a better way, maybe if it had, did a little bit more onboarding, I might have been interested. But like, I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do this. But to be fair to the game, despite the fact it was not for me, a lot of people say it's really good. They say that there are a lot of unexpected twists. There is some horror. There's also some TNA titillation if you swing that way. It's pretty well liked. So I can't, I'm not trying to slag it or anything. It's just bad game, wrong day, not for me. I'm kind of done with the genre, whatever. So just a random mismatch from Gamefly, no big deal. Nothing lost. And if you like visual novels, this one is well liked. But for me, Deathmark was something I didn't want to engage with, and I noped out of it pretty quick. I didn't see anything in there that was appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. So moving on really quickly, unless you have any questions, Corey?
I have no questions.
Okay, that's what I figured. Next one was an indie, which I've heard several things about. It's called Riot, Civil Unrest. This is a politically themed game, as I'm sure you can guess, where you play a group of people who are rioting and protesting against whatever various injustices are happening. Interestingly, you can also be the cops on the other side if you want to be. And I didn't know what the story was. I didn't know exactly like what the nitty-gritty was, but I had seen it at PAX. I had heard people talk about it, and I'm like, again, this is another Gamefly thing. I think I got it from Gamefly. Anyway, another game that starts off with no tutorial. They just launch you straight into it. Like you're given an option menu with some settings, and you're not really sure what the settings are. Like, hey, pick your weapon. Well, I don't know what these weapons do. What am I even doing? How do I know what to choose? And then pick which side you want to be. Which side do I want to be? I don't know. I guess I'll just pick something at random and try. And then you get launched into the game. No tutorial. No explanation about how any of the controls work. No clear goals. No clear, like, anything. Like, you're playing all of a sudden. And I was just fucking around with the controls. Apparently you can move a crowd of people from one side of the screen to the other. I played as the rioters. There were some cops, and it was like, don't let your tents be destroyed. That's your goal. And I'm like, okay, well, where are my tents? And then how do I stop them from destroying my tents? What do I do? You can use a bullhorn to do something. I guess it like rallies the troops or something. You can make people stop in a certain place. It's kind of like a 2D Pikmin in a way, I guess, in a very, very loose sense, although not nearly as polished or as cute or as well controlling as the Nintendo franchises. And I just sat there at the screen kind of like totally disaffected, like no motivation to figure out what's going on, no motivation to dig into it. I wasn't going to jump on YouTube for a tutorial. I just was kind of surprised that for a game that is so unusual and so non-standard that they would just throw you into it and expect you to just swim. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not gonna. I mean, I played like 2 levels. I finished them both. Don't ask me how. But I completed them, and then I was done. I was like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to, no, I'm done. So, I really strongly suggest to all developers listening, please put tutorials in. Please tell us how to play your games. Please set up your game. Like, take the time to explain to us why we should invest our time. Why should we spend the energy to play your game? Because we are drowning in games right now. At this era in video games, there are so many games to choose from. Like, you literally can't play them all. You need to do something to get people to play your game. It's not enough just to show up. You need to go a little bit further than that. So, Salaryman, Deathmark, Paranautical Activity, Riot, Civil Unrest, all of these things I think are pretty guilty of just showing up and expecting that to be enough, and it's just not enough.
It is just not enough. You know what we should do, Brad?
What is that?
We should riot and perform some civil unrest against game developers who are not putting tutorials in their game.
I think that's totally fine as long as we explain to people how to do it.
Oh my God. I would never suggest that, first of all. And second of all, I was watching, as I did my like 5 seconds of pre-show research, I was watching a trailer for this on Steam a little while before we started recording. And I have to say the art style is actually pretty up my alley because it looks just like that one like God damn it, I can't remember the name of it now, but there's that like really scary like 2D side-scrolling game that I really liked that came out like a couple years ago.
Not Home.
Not Home. Home I love, but that came out a while ago.
You're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
I know you know what I'm talking about. I can't
I
remember
know.
the freaking name.
Is it the
of
one
it.
where you're in an apartment building?
Yeah, and you're like the night security guard.
Oh, you're talking about Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, Uncanny Valley, because it looks just like Uncanny Valley, and Uncanny Valley was like my shit for like most of the game. It had some very scary moments. But I was watching the trailer for this, and like I couldn't even tell like what the game was supposed to be based on the trailer. It was just like crowds of like pixel based people just kind of like running around, and I was like, okay, what is the point? Like, what? I don't really understand what the game is supposed to be.
That's literally what it is. That's exactly what it feels like to play it. It's like you can't tell what's going on. It's hard to tell what's happening. There's a million little teeny tiny pixel people on the screen, and you're just kind of like pushing buttons and like hoping things happen. And I mean, maybe that's like the meta commentary, because in a riot it's hard to tell what's going on, and like you can't direct a riot. Chaos. I mean, I get that, and maybe that's commentary, but I just felt like I was sitting in front of a screen watching a bunch of ants on my screen kind of walk around, and I didn't feel like I was doing anything or like I was intentionally making anything happen. It just felt like a mess. I just was like, nah, not happening.
So we can go ahead and say that Rockstar's State of Emergency is still the best Riot game out there right now.
God, I mean, by default, I think it kind of is. I mean, that's a pretty strange badge of honor to have. I mean, that came out like what, 15 years ago or something like that. I don't think people have even heard of it by this point, but I mean, we were probably talking to a generation that wasn't even born by the time that game came out. So,
State of Emergency, man.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up, folks. Check it out on YouTube. We got one more game to talk about. Corey, I'm going to let you take the lead. We talked about Anthem, the demo, last episode. Pretty miserable showing by the closed beta. A lot of technical problems. A lot of difficulty getting in. I mean, it was pretty well documented that people were just like really unimpressed with how it showed up. I think I played for a total of 10 minutes. I don't think you even got into the game, did you, last time?
I did not. I was in the hub area, and the game failed to load the 3 or 4 missions that I tried to get into. And one of which, I know I said this last week, but turned my entire PlayStation 4 off whenever I tried to close.
Oh, that's
Anthem.
right. That's right. It killed your whole box. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, so severe technical issues. So this weekend, happening literally right now, is the open demo/beta of Anthem. I went back into the game. Corey, you got back into the game. I will say, without saying anything else, that the technical performance is much better. I was able to get in. I was able to play some. So a lot of the problems that plagued the closed beta are gone. It seems at least functional. But you take the lead on this one, Corey. So now that you actually had a chance to play, what did you think of Anthem, which is the Iron Man simulator coming from BioWare/EA MMO sort of a thing? What did you think of Anthem?
Okay, so... and just to be clear for anybody listening, this demo was only a weekend thing again, so it's not like available anymore. So it was just, I think maybe Friday through Sunday or Saturday and Sunday or something. So it's over, it's done with again. I don't know if they're going to do another one. But I was able to get in and go through the hub world, and I actually got to play some missions this time, which was pretty incredible. I mean, just that in and of itself. So whenever you play the demo, there's like 4 kind of missions to choose from, and one of them is like an actual mission. I think 2 of them are actual missions, and then 2 of them are just kind of like they drop you into like a free roam area where you can kind of just like run around and kill stuff and like explore the world and kind of do whatever you want, but there's not really like an objective. And so I played the first kind of like the mission that it kind of like directs you toward in the game, and I decided, because I don't like people, to put my thing on private and not like let anybody play with me, because that's kind of like a big thing about this game. It's very much like Destiny, very much like The Division, where it wants you to play with other people. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I just want to play this by myself because I don't want to have to deal with other people right now. So I went into the first mission. And the hub world, whenever you're going about the whole like bazaar area that kind of looks like Middle Eastern, is first person. Whenever you get into the game, it is third person. And it's just basically like kind of like an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter. The thing that I thought was kind of fascinating is that I know that BioWare probably has like several different teams working on several different games at any point in their sort of life cycle, but the movement and the like maneuverability of the suits kind of reminds me of Mass Effect Andromeda a lot. And I wasn't really expecting that because like Mass Effect Andromeda, as probably anybody who's listening to the show knows, it was sort of like the next big Mass Effect from BioWare, but it kind of crashed and burned a little bit right after it came out because it had a lot of technical problems at the beginning of the game, and then it finally got like a bunch of patches, and I played it after the patches, and it was like, it was okay. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't nearly as good as any Mass Effect that had come before it. It was just like a very mediocre outing in the Mass Effect universe. But the controls feel similar to that because it's very like in the first suit that you unlock, there's like a dash button where you can kind of like put your like jetpack thrusters on and you can basically kind of do like a dash in any direction. I think Mass Effect Andromeda had the same thing. You can double jump in the first suit that you have, so you can like launch your suit up in the air, and you can like use your thruster to like do another double jump in the air, and it's just like a pretty cool amount of maneuverability. And you have different weapons you can equip. You can equip 2 weapons at a time. You have, you know, whatever, like if you want like an assault rifle and a shotgun, or an assault rifle and a pistol, or whatever, you know, whatever you want. And then you keep sort of like, just like Destiny and The Division and other games like that, you just kind of get different versions of more or less the same guns over the course of the game. And of course they have like slightly better damage and slightly better reload times and stuff like that. Your character also has, much like Destiny, sort of like the R1, L1, and then if you press R1 and L1 together, they have sort of like different abilities that are specific to the suits. And I think you can unlock more and like craft more as you go, as you play the game more and like get more experience and stuff. But like the Ranger suit that I was playing as, he had like a kind of like a homing missile button. He had a melee attack that was the triangle button. If you pressed L1, it was like a grenade that pretty much exploded on contact when it hit the ground, which I thought was cool because you didn't have to like wait for it to explode. If you press both of them at the same time and hold R1 and L1 down, he like targets everything in the vicinity and then shoots like a bunch of like homing missiles out at once, and that's kind of like the big like special weapon that takes a really long time to recharge. So the suits have their own like little, you know, unique abilities like that. And I mean, but basically like the game is just, it feels a lot like the other games I've been mentioning. It feels a lot like Destiny, to me at least. It feels a lot like Destiny. It feels a lot like The Division. I mean, given that it's on this kind of like fantastical sort of like planet area, like the first mission I was in was kind of like rainforesty, so it was kind of like, in parts of it was raining, really green, really lush, very outdoorsy, not super like sci-fi looking or, you know, like crazy like buildings or metal or steel or anything. It was mostly just like lush sort of rainforest area. And part of it, you're shooting these like pterodactyl things that have like spit fireballs at you, and then later on you're shooting like regular dudes. And there's like turret guns and stuff. And so I played through most of that mission, and there came a part where, of course, because every game has to do this, it's like this, I entered like a no respawn zone. And the game just got like really, really hard when I got to the no respawn zone. And there were these enemies with these like giant shields that were attacking me, and like all of these sort of like little, sort of like normal like ranger dudes around that are just like foot soldiers with their assault rifles. And you know, I'm in like my Iron Man suit, so I feel like I should be able to just like take these dudes out really quickly. But they're actually not, you know, as easy to kill. It's very much like the other games where you shoot something and it has like the damage number that pops up over their head. You have to shoot an enemy like, you know, like 7 times for them to die or something like that. And then the bigger enemies, you have to shoot them like fucking like 50,000 times for him to die if you're playing by yourself and if you're not leveled up very well. And so like and it has like a recharging shield, and like part of your health recharges too. So it ended up becoming one of those games where like I would just kind of like pop out and shoot, and then I would end up like running away from all the enemies and like waiting for my shield to recharge, which takes too long for the shield to recharge, in my opinion. And that's kind of like what it turned into. Like I would run out into the battlefield, I would get like half a clip off on an enemy. By that point, my shield was already almost completely down, so was my health, so I had to like run my ass off the other way, try to just like stand behind some cover for a minute and let my shield recharge, and then like rinse and repeat that for like 15 minutes. And I died after all that in the first mission. And whenever I died, it respawned me like, because I was in a no respawn zone, so it respawned me to the beginning of that zone, which I had spent like 15 or 20 minutes like fighting through. And whenever it respawned me to the start of the section, I said, no, Anthem, we're not doing this. And I quit the mission because I wasn't going to do that again. And so I thought, do you want to respond before I move on?
No, keep going.
Okay, so I was like, okay, I'll give another mission a shot, so I went back out to the bazaar area. I customized my suit a little bit differently. I colored him a little bit differently. I put 2 different weapons on because I wanted to experiment with some different guns. And so I went into one of like the open, like kind of like free roam world areas. And in those, you have to do a public setting on your profile. You can't do private, or at least not in the demo. Which I was like, okay, whatever, like, I don't care. And so I started playing it, and of course it, like, immediately, like, matched me with, like, 3 other characters, which was fine, because they were, like, fine people, I don't think any of us had headsets on, so I wasn't, like, talking to them or using a mic or anything, and we all just kind of, like, explored and fought, and, like, it was okay, but it was just, like, there wasn't, like, because it was the free roam area, there wasn't really, like, an objective to anything we were doing. We were all just kind of, like, flying around and, like, shooting stuff. And there was a lot of stuff for us to explore, which was really cool. Like, the demo was way bigger than I thought it was going to be, because I started in this, like, cliffside, like, waterfall area, and I, like, went all the way up the waterfall, and I ended up in these, like, kind of, like, flaming cavern areas where, like, it was kind of, like, this weird sort of, like, caves, these like volcanic caves, which was pretty cool. So like definitely like the environments are pretty like varied. I mean, at least as far as the demo went, I was pretty impressed with how like varied the environments were. But at a certain point, I was also just like, okay, like I'm not really interested in this. And then I tried the other mission, and I think I spawned in. I did public on that one, so I tried the other mission and I explored it with like 3 other dudes, or maybe women, I don't know, whoever they were with me. And kind of like the same thing happened with the first one. And I thought to myself, like, well, maybe this will be easier because like I'm in a different mission. I have like better gear. I'm actually fighting with 3 other people. And it was like basically like a shit show all over again. Like the people on my team kept getting downed, and you have to, go and revive them. And anytime I would try to revive them, like I would almost get downed. And then we got to like a no respawn area, and I was super unclear on like what I was supposed to even be doing. Like there was this objective about like collecting like these echoes and taking them somewhere, and I didn't really like understand what I was supposed to be doing. And like in the middle of this mission, it really dawned on me that like the overall feeling that I was getting while playing this game is that it feels like work. It feels like a grind. It doesn't feel like I'm having any fun. It might be the kind of game where you feel like you're having fun once you unlock all the suits and once you unlock a bunch of cool powers, and you can like use a suit to like jump and fly and float and like be stealthy and like really maneuverable, or like really be able to like tailor it the way you want to. But like just from where I was, because I only had 1 suit unlocked, and it was basically like the base kind of default ranger suit, I just like wasn't really that impressed. It just felt like I was just grinding and killing the same enemies over and over and over again, and like wasn't really getting enough gear to feel good about what I was doing, or wasn't getting any like cool new weapons that made it feel like it was really worth the payoff. And so every time I died, I was just like, I'm just gonna turn this off. Like I don't feel like I'm having any fun. I don't feel like any sense of camaraderie with the people I'm playing with. I mean, I'm sure if I were playing with like you and your wife, it would be different, but it feels way too much like Destiny. And I'm like really lukewarm on Destiny. Like it's a very just like sort of like middle ground game for me. Like it's fine. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great. It's just like a shooter. And that's kind of how I feel about this. It just feels like a shooter, and it feels like stuff I've seen before. I mean, minus the Iron Man suits, but that doesn't really feel like enough to make it feel that special. So it just felt kind of boring and kind of monotonous to me, and it really kind of turned me off on even like wanting to play the full package whenever it comes out.
Yeah, basically ditto, like everything you said. It feels too much like Destiny, and I know a lot of people were jumping on me for saying that on Twitter earlier, but like it just does, man. Like I mean, for starters, it looks very generic to me. I mean, yes, you're in a suit of armor, and you can fly, but like it just looks like nothing about the visuals are very appealing to me. Like it just looks very lukewarm and inoffensive and lowest common denominator sort of a thing, where just nothing stands out to me about it. Like the gun design is really dull. The UI looks just like Destiny. Everything looks really painfully generic. The town, like the bazaar, like, you know, the Middle Eastern, you know, Bazaar kind of bazaar. It just looked dull. Like it was like, why am I even here? What is going on? There's nobody to talk to. Like BioWare is famous for having interesting, cool characters and strong stories. Granted, we just saw a beta or a demo. I get that. But at the same time, I didn't even see like glimmers of anything that was interesting. Like the characters I was talking to, super generic, just like random NPCs that like, I honestly wouldn't be able to pick out of a lineup of NPCs. Like I couldn't tell you anybody's name. I don't even understand what we were even doing. It had a lot of like lore dumps right away, where I'm like, I don't understand what any of these words are and they don't mean anything to me, and you're acting like I should like be caring about this stuff. When I was in a mission, like I was in a mission with 3 other people, and we were, you know, kind of like you're saying, the shit show combat, just flying around, pouring bullets into some big robot thing, which looked really generic. The enemies look really generic. Like I would have a hard time describing what the enemies look like because I just don't remember, because they were not memorable at all. They were just like random alien bugs and some kind of weird robot or something. Like nothing stood out about it. Like nothing was really exciting or like, oh my God, look at that thing. That's crazy. I can't believe I'm killing this thing, or we're fighting. Like it was just like, okay, I'm shooting this thing. Where's the next objective marker? Okay, fly over here. Yeah, like just nothing really stood out about it at all. And you know, as I was playing it, I was like, this, like, kind of like what you said, like, this just feels like work. I'm just doing this thing that is here for me to do, but not because I want to, or because it feels exciting to do it. It feels like it's just something to do. It feels a lot like Destiny to me. And I mean, me and the wife played through Destiny's campaign, the original Destiny, before any of the improvements or anything. So maybe it's a better experience now, but like the same hyper generic, a lot of lore, like just really get in there. And I mean, like when I was playing one of these Anthem missions, like people were talking, and it was supposed to be like as if it were the people with you, but it wasn't them. It was pre-recorded, and they're like, "Oh, so and so, or there's this mission. We got to go rescue this thing." And I'm like, "What are we even talking about? Like, what is even going on?" You know, they were dropping a bunch of names of things that I didn't know what it was, and like they were having this like really fakey banter or like this mid-mission chat, which number one is hard to listen to in the first place because stuff's going on. And if you don't know what everything is, like it was all just like washing over me, dude. Like it was just like a bunch of just like vanilla shooting past me, and none of it was sticking, and none of it was really interesting or tasty. Yeah, I just like the more I played of it, like the less I liked it, and I do not think I'm going to be playing the full version. Like even if we get a free copy, I think I would probably pass on it because I just don't see myself playing this very much. It just seems like get in here and shoot these things because these are the things that are marked for you to shoot, and collect these guns because that's what you do in one of these games, and fly around because that's our new spin on the genre. But like none of it grabbed me, none of it stuck with me, none of it was interesting. It cooled me off a lot because when we watched videos from E3 last year, I was like, oh cool, you're in a mech suit, I love mech suits, you're flying around, I love flying, and you're in a big jungle and shooting stuff, that looks okay. And like as I'm actually playing it, I'm like literally none of this is fun, like none of this is interesting. Like, how do you suck the energy out of that? And I think it's kind of what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. I hated that game. That game, putting all the technical stuff aside, that game was boring as shit, dude. Like the first Mass Effect is one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite. And the trilogy I hold in very high regard. I mean, not perfect games, but boy, do I love those games. Exciting, great stories, great characters, great action, just really fun things that you do, like lots of twists and turns. And like Andromeda had none of that. Like I thought it was very, very dull, very tedious to play. Like a corpse that was animated, but there's no light behind the eyes. Like it's just there. I felt the same thing about Anthem. It just feels like we want some of this games as service action. Destiny made this work somehow. We're gonna copy their thing, and we're gonna put a little twist on it, and it's gonna be successful just like that. And here we go. And I just was like, no, none of it was working. So it cooled me off hardcore. And again, this is not because of the technical issues. I'm just talking about just what I played and what I saw. Like none of this. No, I'm just not going to play this, dude. I'm just going to give this a hard pass, and I'm going to move on to something else. So this demo, convinced me to not play. I guess that's the opposite goal of a demo, but that's exactly what happened. I'm taking this off my radar, man.
Yeah. Speaking of Mass Effect, while you were talking, I just thought of this too. Whenever you're in the bazaar area, like you can like talk to a bunch of people, and there's like a lady who is kind of like the mechanic, like the javelins are what like the mech suits are. She's kind of like the javelin mechanic, and I like walk up to her, to kind of like chat her up, and because the game like tells you that you can talk to her, and I'm like talking to her, and for I don't know if it's just because it's like a BioWare thing or like what, but for some reason the game gives you like dialogue options, and then there's only two, so it's not like a like a happy, a mean, or like a neutral or whatever, like in Mass Effect, but it's just two, and like you hold one of the triggers to say it. And I'm like talking to her about like the mech suits or whatever, and she like asked me a question about like, I don't know, something, and it like brings up the dialogue options, and it doesn't really tell you like what they mean really. Like it'll have the responses, but in Mass Effect style, like the first person character will just like say like a slightly different sentence than what it says. And like I said something that was just pretty just like standard fare about like, oh well, I'm just doing my job, or something about like, oh well, I bring my suit back to like the best mechanic on the planet or something like that. And like the mechanic lady is like, oh, yeah, sweet talker. And I'm like, what? Like what? And so I just had this idea in my head of like, it was like everything I said to her, she was just like, and I chose my woman to be a woman. Like I was a female character, and like totally great that like whatever, like these two women in the game are like cool with, I don't know, like being flirty on the spot or whatever. Because like if it were two dudes, I would feel the same way. But it was just weird because I felt like I said something that was just so like standard, and like everything I said to her, she would be like, "Oh, you're such a sweet talker" or something, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like I'm just talking about like my fucking mech suit, and you're like trying to get all like sexy with me and stuff." And like it would be one thing if like when the dialogue options came up, there was like one that like definitely sounded sexy and one that like sounded really to the point, but they both like more or less looked the same to me. And then I would say one, and like apparently it was like the flattery one for the mechanic, and I couldn't help but wonder if it was just like, because BioWare is obviously like super famous for like having like alien romance in the games and stuff like that, and they really like push that hard with Mass Effect Andromeda about like romancing everybody on your ship and all that stuff. And so I couldn't help but wonder like, did they feel like it just like wouldn't be a BioWare game if you weren't able to like immediately flirt with the first person you see like on the entire like hub world? And it just felt like really kind of like strange and like forced and out of place for me.
The whole game feels strange and forced and out of place. I mean, for real, dude. Like, I think it's probably safe to say that BioWare is dead. Like, the name above the office may say BioWare, but like, I don't. In Mass Effect Andromeda, I wasn't picking up any of that vibe. In this game, I'm not picking up any of that vibe. I mean, the two doctors who founded it, I forget their names, but the two docs, they're not there anymore. They haven't been there for a while. I'm guessing a lot of the people who were the real talent are probably not there anymore either. I don't know. I just feel like we are playing a reanimated corpse that is being made by a reanimated corpse, and I don't feel any. I mean, I think it's just over. I think BioWare is over, and I don't feel like any more allegiance to them. I don't feel like I am inclined to like their games anymore. So, I'm gonna completely avoid this one. I mean, unless I hear like amazing things from people who are not Destiny addicts. Like if I can talk to a normal person and they say it's great, maybe I'll check it out. But it seems like the people who like Destiny like this, and people who just want to do like loot and shoot, as good old Cliff Goldsmith had said, maybe that's okay for them. But I need more than that in my games, and I'm not seeing any hints that anything more than that's going to be there. So, going to give this one a pass. Sounds like you're going to give it a pass as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it time and time again on the show. Like, there's only enough time in the world for either none or one like games as service game in our lives, perhaps, or at any given point in time. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know if I've ever planned to be in this situation, but given the experience that you and I both have with the Division, I feel like you and I and, perhaps your wife or your son are all just going to fall back into the Division too. And like, if I could pick one to play, I would rather play that than anything else. I mean, even if it's just more of the same of the first Division, and I swear, like, Ubisoft is not paying me to say that on this podcast. I just would rather play that. I think if I'm going to choose like one, because I'm certainly not going to play every games of service game that comes out, especially if it doesn't feel good or feel like fun or feel exciting or intense or whatever. It just feels like work. But I would rather just get the Division 2 and play that with you guys than play this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think most people only have room for one or two. I have room for maybe one. I know you're really busy too. And it's like, I mean, I still play, as we talked about on the PS4 recap show, I apparently play a lot of Fortnite that I don't ever talk about on the show. But, I mean, when I have 15, 20 minutes and I just want to play something for, just jump in, feel like I did something and jump out, Fortnite solves that pretty quickly. It's still fun. It's still goofy, so I still enjoy playing that. I would be interested in doing, like, at least the campaign of the Division. I don't know that I necessarily want to sign up and get married to a game for the next 3 years or something. I'm not sure if I'm even the game as a service person, like I think Puzzle Quest is something because it's in my phone and it's, easy to play, but it's not something that I like devote my life to. And I don't think I ever want to play a game really for that much ever. So I would be more interested in playing the Division, going through the campaign, maybe doing a little Dark Zone and then calling it good, kind of like we did last time. That was a real positive, fun experience. So I would be more up for that. But yeah, I don't see Anthem doing that. And I also have, I mean, like I said, Fortnite. And I mean, honestly, I'd rather just go back to Warframe and do that some more. I mean, I played some of that this year. That was still a good time. And they do a lot of what this game is doing, but do it better. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't see this having a place in my life at all. So I think I'm probably okay to let this go. Unless I hear something amazing, which I don't think I'm going to see. So I think that's all I've got to say. Any last thoughts on it?
I think that's pretty much all I have to say, too. We've been a couple of downers on the show, yeah?
I mean, it happens sometimes, but I mean, I think that's just us being honest, dude. I mean, not every game out there can be great, and we cover a wide variety of stuff. I mean, if it's good, we'll celebrate it for sure. I think it's just this week. I don't know, just a bad crop of games. But hopefully we will talk about some more up stuff next week. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, I'm in the middle of playing Resident Evil 2. We're not going to talk about it now, but I will say, just really quickly as a teaser for a future show, enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. I know I was really having some trepidation about going into it. It is still scary. I don't think that I can really play it successfully on my own. So I will only play it when my family's around. But the part that I did play, having a good time with, and I will have a lot to say about it when we get to it. So that'll be something we can talk about. I think we'll both be pretty up on it, I'm guessing. And we'll see what else comes down the pike, but we will be looking for some good stuff. And we, not intentionally downers. We'll see what happens next time.
Excellent. Well, is that everything then? Are we going to sign off now?
Let's sign off, man. Bring us home.
All right. Okay. Well, today, thank you for listening. We talked about ENYO, Salaryman, Paranautical Activity, Deathmark, Riot, Civil Unrest, and the Anthem Demo. Some of those game names probably ran together, unfortunately. We played Deathmark, Riot, Civil Unrest. That's actually one game, not two. That brings us to the end of this episode 117. Remember, you can stick around after the ending music to hear tonight's banter. We talk about, as usual, movies. I talk about spending more money than I should have on some dumb shit and some other stuff. However, if you don't want to listen to that, feel free to bail now, and we'll catch you next week with more games chat. But in the meantime, you can also get in touch with us in several different ways. You can send us comments, thoughts, feedback, ideas, show ideas. Like we said earlier, if you guys have any ideas about segments or anything you'd like us to talk about regularly, by all means, send us your ideas. I mean, we haven't talked about doing a Q&A in the future, but I mean, you're always welcome to send us Q&A questions, and we'll always answer them anytime. If you want to send us any of that stuff, there are several ways. The first way is by email. We are on Gmail. Our address is sovideogamespodcast@gmail.com. You can also post comments directly on the Game Critics website for us whenever the show goes live. There's a podcast tab on the Game Critics website, and it lists every podcast that Game Critics has ever produced in their entire lifetime. And you can leave a comment on every single page if you want. And you can also get a hold of us on Twitter. We are available as a collective show on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @SoVideoGames. Despite the fact that we say So Video Games Podcast, there's only one O. It is SO Video Games for our Twitter handle. And last but not least, definitely not least, you can reach us individually on Twitter. which I always think is probably the best way to get a hold of us. But really, any way's fine, but getting a hold of us individually is probably the best way. Brad, would you like to give out your social media handles?
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram sporadically. It's at Brad Galloway, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. And Corey, where can they find you?
You can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram. I say it every week, also on Twitch. I haven't broadcasted in like 6 months, so whatever, but it's there if you want to subscribe. My Twitter handle, much like Brad's, is also my first and last name. It is Corey Motley, CoreyMotley. Brad, do you have any last words before we sign off?
No, that's it. Thank you, folks, for listening. Please bear with us for the next 4 weeks while I get through Romeo and Juliet. We will do our best, and we will make an effort to find something that is a little more upbeat. We don't want to be bringing dark gray clouds into your game horizon, so look for a few rays of sunshine as we manage them. But yeah, we'll be back, and we'll talk some more next time.
Definitely. And also, I mean, I could talk till I'm blue in the face about how much I love Resident Evil 2, but it would probably get really old for you guys if I came back every single week and just sung the praises of Resident Evil 2 from the rooftops. But once Brad finishes it, we will definitely do a deep dive on it, so get ready for that. But until then, until the next episode, this is bye from Corey.
And I almost said bye from Corey, but I am not Corey. I am Brad. Bye from Brad. Bye from me. We'll see you next time.
Yes, take care, guys. We'll see you next week.
All right, cool. I am freezing my ass off right now. We are in the middle of Snowpocalypse 2019 here in Seattle. We rarely ever get snow, and last night it just dumped down on us. So, like, the entire city is shut down. My job tonight was canceled. I'm not sure if I'm going to work tomorrow. Gina's home, her thing canceled, and we're home. So, of course, our son is home. So we got a full house in the So Video Games West studio today. Live studio audience, which will be a neat thing. If you hear applause, just ignore it and just keep on recording.
Oh my god. I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to ask you about this first thing. I've been seeing, because obviously I'm friends with a lot of people on Twitter that live in Seattle, and I keep seeing pictures and videos of snow over and over and over again, and I wasn't sure if that was a common thing there or not.
No, it is super rare because of where we sit between. We have mountains on one side, and we have the Pacific Ocean on the other, and also Seattle's kind of not really on the coast, although we are next to the ocean because we have Puget Sound, which is kind of like this giant piece of land that is like scooped out of the mainland of Washington. So it's like this giant like ocean channel that comes inland. So we're by the water, but we're not on the coast, which is kind of a weird thing. And just with all those different geological factors, or geographical, I should say, we're pretty protected from winter and extreme weather. I mean, we get cold, we get rain, snow once in a while and barely any, but man, something, global warming, that polar vortex or whatever that was crushing the middle of the country, whatever's happening. So like, it's really freezing in my house today. I'm wearing a hat and a scarf literally right now as I'm recording. I've got like 3 layers of clothing on. My wife is buried under 50 blankets. My son is just cold. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. So that's kind of what's going down today. What about you? Did you get any of that polar vortex action down your way?
Not really. I mean, it's actually like really been really nice outside for the past couple days. It's weird because like a week ago it was about 40 degrees on a daily basis, which is pretty cold for New Orleans or for the South in general probably. But the other night I went out to do laundry, and it was so weird because it was like because at where I live, we have a detached garage next to the house, and that's where the washer and dryer are to do laundry. So you have to walk like I don't know, like 50 feet, from the side door to the garage to take the laundry over. And I stepped outside, and it was like 8 or 9 p.m. and I was like, wow, it's really nice out here. It was like 65 degrees, and it was like nighttime, and it had been like 40 degrees during the day, like earlier, like a week prior. But it's like right now, if I check the weather on my phone, I don't want to make you too jealous, so feel free to just cancel the call or sign off when I say this, but it's currently 72 degrees and cloudy.
Wow,
right
what?
now.
That is ridiculous. Holy smokes. That is crazy talk. Wow. Well, lucky for you, man. I mean, it wouldn't ordinarily be that cold here. In fact, we've had a pretty mild winter in general. And look at us talking about weather like old men. How exciting for a podcast audience. This is great. This is great radio. But yeah, this is just out of the blue. It's so crazy. I mean, my kid ran outside. He played in the snow a couple times. He had a good time. But I mean, I think I may have mentioned this before, but Seattle doesn't get a lot of snow. But when we do get like any amount of snow, it paralyzes the city for a couple of reasons. Number one, we almost never get snow, so the city doesn't put aside any money to deal with snow because we could go like a decade with getting no snow, right? So like, we don't have a bunch of like dedicated plow or salt trucks. We don't have emergency services that are just put aside just for snow days. So like when snow does come, we're kind of paralyzed by it because everybody's like, oh, where'd we park that one snow truck that we had 10 years ago? Where'd that go? And who's working this weekend because everybody's off? And who's going to drive the truck? And what's going on? Like, we don't have anything like that. But the other reason snow really paralyzes the city is because if people have never been to Seattle, it's actually extremely hilly. We have a lot of really steep hills. The city itself, even downtown, is not flat. Like, I talked to a lot of people who are surprised, but like, it's very vertical in Seattle, a lot of up and down. And so even a little tiny bit of snow or even a little bit of rain sometimes on the wrong conditions will make these hills like absolutely lethal. Like, we get people who like get mowed down at the bottom of a hill because a car coming down couldn't stop. We get cars who like smash into things at the bottom of hills because they just can't stop. A number of roads that are at the top of hills get closed because there's just physically, and I mean physically in the sense of according to the laws of physics, like there is no way your car can stop if you get going on one of these hills, regardless of whether you have a four-wheel drive or something. So like a lot of the city is just really impassable because it's too steep and too dangerous. So, you know, a lot of people are on Twitter like, oh, you guys only got like 2 inches of snow. You guys are pussies closing the city down. And it's like, dude, you don't know what it's like. You have no idea to be at the top of like a 300-foot hill and be screaming down and have no idea how to stop. Like, it's deadly. It is deadly. So, yeah, basically the whole city is shut down right now. No one's going anywhere. No one's doing anything. And I'm not even sure if I'm even going to work tomorrow or what's up. So it's kind of crazy right now. But luckily we have a lot of food in the fridge because we just went shopping. So that was good timing on our part. We have electricity, so we have some heat and stuff. So we're not suffering, but I do feel really bad for people out there who are homeless or don't have, you know, the luxuries that we have. It's got to be pretty rough right now, but we're surviving, and yeah, it's kind of crazy.
But you guys, I know something that I was used to in the Midwest that it seems to be not as much of a thing other places that I didn't realize because of my, I don't know, like sheltered Midwestern upbringing is I always grew up with central air and central heat, but like when I moved to New Orleans, I kind of discovered that that's not as much of a thing here. There's a lot of like window units, and I remember whenever I went to, because I've been to Seattle twice for 2 vacations, and like the first, I think Airbnb that I stayed in only had a window AC unit and nothing else, and it's just like fans and maybe a window AC unit if you're lucky. So that's like how it is there, right? Like, is it rare to find central air and central heating?
I mean, it's changing. I think we've been so mild in terms of our summers were not really that hot and our winters were not really that cold. And just how the architecture and the building and stuff around here was, yeah, I mean, it was really rare for like a long time. Like, there's just, nobody had that, you know? But now that newer construction's coming in all over the place, I mean, I'm guessing it's probably more common these days, but it is extremely common to go to somebody's house and they don't have central air or heating. They just have a bunch of, like, we have like 35 box fans in our house for the summertime. We have a couple of portable radiators for the wintertime because the house just does not come equipped with it. So, but some people do, some people don't, and it's all different. But we're seeing a strange crossover between old architecture and new because so much new is coming into Seattle, and a lot of old stuff is getting pushed out. We're seeing a big shift in that. So I would expect it probably will change in the near future.
Well, last but not least, before we jump off the subject of weather, I just want to say, but Brad, how can global warming be a thing if it's cold and snowing outside?
Oh, God. Get over here so I can slap you in your face. Oh, my God. Stupidest. If there was ever a question, we were being led by the stupidest, most evil man in the world. That settled it right there. I mean, don't even get me started, dude. The level of fucking ignorance and dipshittery going on it's intolerable.
Oh, my God. I couldn't let the moment pass without saying it.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Ugh. Okay, enough of that shit. What have you been doing? What else? What do you got going on? That's not weather related.
I have. Well, I'm just like to begin, just today in general, just to be immediate, I'm like fucking tired as fuck today. I like stayed up way too late last night, and I like woke up and went to work, and I could not focus. Like I still got like most of my work done, and I just like couldn't focus very well. And I went.
What were you doing? You partying? What was going on?
No, well, okay. So last night I wasn't really partying, but like, I mean, not at all, to be frank. But like last night was weird because like Patrick has been on. He's been working nights for a while, and I've probably said that probably about every single banter section for the past like month on the show. And but last night he like went to work, and I guess they've been like really backed up at the plant, and he like didn't really like need to be there. And so he like went in for a couple of hours and then came home. And I mean, we weren't really like doing anything specific, but it was just like, I don't know, nice to see him for once, like ever in the world, because he's been like because usually whenever I get home from work, he's sleeping, and then I'm usually tired and I get home from work because I always stay up too late. So I will like take a nap. I mean, like with him, but you know, we're both sleeping. Yeah. So, and then he'll get up.
Oh my God, dude, you are describing our life exactly. Like every single thing that you said is literally the exact same thing me and Gina do, like to a T. Not even exaggerating at all, dude. Literally, we are living parallel lives on the opposite sides of the country.
Well, I mean, that's kind of how it is right now. And but he like came home last night, and he was home. I went out to dinner with one of my friends last night, and then got home, and he got home from work, and we just kind of like hung out at the house, and we got caught up on Star Trek Discovery because we like to watch it together. And I don't know, I painted my nails, and I forget that when I paint my nails, it takes like an hour to do it because it takes for fucking ever for everything to dry. So I like just like ended up staying up really late last night, and I was like really unfocused at work today. But I actually have like some kind of like stories, I guess, some dumb shit that's been happening to me over the past couple weeks.
Stories? Talk story, Corey. Yeah. Talk story.
Let's talk about stories. So I have two things, so we can kind of bounce back and forth on these. I want to talk about, so I've probably talked about on the show before how I have been listening to, because, you know, like we're on a video game podcast. I used to listen to video game podcasts a lot, but I don't really listen to them anymore. But something that I've been listening to lately... And
please don't say it's because ours puts every other one to shame.
No, it's just because, like, well, I think whenever it's kind of like one of those things where, like, because I play video games a lot, and because sometimes I write about video games, and because I spend, you know, 3 hours talking with you a week about video games, and then another like 3 hours listening back to us talking about video games, like, I just like, you know, it's like one of those things where, like, I think it's cool to have a hobby, and I think it's, you know, obviously, like, everybody needs hobbies, everybody needs stuff to do in their free time, but I feel like it's important that you have, like, more than one, and you have, like, diverse hobbies, and this... Totally, I didn't even mean to go off on this tangent, but it really reminded me of this whenever I went to Atlanta for the parkour thing a couple weeks ago, because, like, everybody that I was there with, they eat, sleep, and breathe, and dream parkour, like, all day. And, like, we went to, like, this after party after the competition, and we're just, like, out at one of the guys' friend's house drinking and just hanging out, and they were, like, queued up, like, 1 million parkour YouTube videos, and, like, all the dudes that were there were just, like, sitting around on the couch just, like, watching all these parkour videos, and they all knew, like, every single move that every single athlete did in succession in all the videos because they had watched them, like, so many times. And, like, I get it, like, it's cool to have a hobby, but at the same time, I'm like, please do something else. Like, you need to have more than just, like, this one thing in your life. And so that's sort of bringing me around to what I originally meant to talk about was I listened to a lot of, like, beauty and skincare podcasts, because, like, skincare, the science of skincare is something I've been really getting into over the past, like, year or so. And I listened to a podcast called the Full Coverage Podcast, and it's kind of just, like, it's like a pro makeup artist and her friend... who's not really, I mean, she's kind of like in the industry, but she's not like a makeup artist or anything. She just like likes the, I don't know, stuff. And so she talks about it. And they have like, they talk about like new news and like new releases. And sometimes they do interviews with like industry vets and stuff. But they have a closed Facebook group, and I joined their Facebook group. And it's basically just like, it's about like 2,000 to 3,000 people. I'm sure like 98% of them are women. And, you know, it's basically just, like, talking about whatever. Like, sometimes they'll post pictures of their makeup. Sometimes they'll talk about deals. Sometimes they'll ask for product recommendations. And the other day, a woman had posted, who lives in California, had posted a thing basically saying, like, hey, I have, like, basically a shitload of, like, sort of, like, trial-sized makeup and skincare and, like, stuff that I know I'm never going to use. And so basically I just kind of want to, like, send some care packages to people. Like if anybody's interested, like I know I'm never going to use this stuff. I don't want it to expire, because maybe something that people don't know is that makeup actually does have expiration dates on everything. And so I kind of threw my hat in the ring, and I was like, oh, sure. Like, maybe like, 100 women have hit you up for stuff already, but like, here's some of the stuff that I like. And, if wherever I am on the list, like you can send me some stuff. If not, I don't care, but I just want to, let you know. And so about a week later, she sent me this like care package of all of this like fucking like high end, like makeup samples and stuff. And I
Really?
and it was like fucking rad. So like, and I was adding it up before we recorded because I wanted to see like if I could get kind of like a gauge on about how much money's worth she had sent me. And it's probably hovering around like the $200 mark of all the stuff that she sent.
Wow.
Yeah, so like I don't know, it's kind of cool.
Well, quick side note on that though, she's even more generous than that, because I've actually done that before where I've like had a bunch of shit to give away, and I don't realize, because I'm like, oh yeah, let's just give stuff away. But the postage for that shit adds up so fast. So imagine how much money she's putting out of pocket, like the weight of the stuff she sent you times however many people she sent. I mean, she probably sunk like a lot of money in just, quote unquote, being nice and giving free stuff away, dude. That's even nicer.
I know. And I told her like straight up, I was like, hey, if you want me to like Venmo you for shipping or whatever. And like other people in the group said the same thing, but she didn't. I mean, I assume she's like well off if she can afford all these like trial sizes of this like luxury makeup and stuff. But it was pretty cool. So she just like sent me a bunch of stuff, and I've been kind of like, a lot of it's like more like natural stuff. She didn't send me like, like a neon eyeshadow palette or anything, because that's like, I kind of clarified to her that if I wear makeup, I like to wear like kind of natural stuff. So she sent me like a couple of different like lip treatments and this cool like highlighter balm stick thing that smells like honey, which is amazing, and like a brush and this like kind of like a contour kit, for lack of a better word, which I don't think is going to be that useful for me, but it's kind of cool to have. And like a loose powder. She sent me there's this brand called Hourglass that's like really kind of luxury, and she sent me this bronzer from Hourglass, and just like the mini size of a bronzer, which will probably last me like forever because I won't use it that much, is like $24 on its own, like one single like mini size of one product. Yeah. And like the full size is like $55, and I was like, oh my god, like this is like some of like the nicest stuff I own now. It's like so silly. But yeah, I just like, it's cool to like be reminded that there are like nice, like selfless people out there in the world still, and they're just like, oh, I have this extra stuff and I will take the time to go get boxes. And like, she packaged everything really neatly, like she Ziploc bagged almost everything individually in case it like leaked, and and like you said, she paid the postage and sent everything out. And I was just like, oh my god, there are still good people out there in the world. Like, this is amazing.
Just send her like a thank you card or something. That sounds like she really went above and beyond to like really like give you the goods, dude.
Yeah, I know. And I just like, I don't know. I don't think I have her address. I mean, I'm sure I could ask her for it. Maybe like send her like some flowers or an edible arrangement or something. But
I mean, at least a very like, charming gif or something. I mean, something to kind of, communicate the things. That sounds awesome, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was super rad. So I was pretty happy about that. And like some stuff I know I'll get more use than others, but like even just like it sounds so silly, but like a couple of like high-end like lip balms that she sent, and I'm like using them like every day, like religiously, because I'm like, fucking yeah, like I've got my like $2 like Vaseline in the drawer. I've got this like $25 like rose lip treatment. Like, of course I'm going to be using that every day. So it's just like pretty cool to have that, I don't know, like nice stuff, I guess.
That is excellent. That is excellent to get like, not only was it like a nice lady who sent this thing out of the goodness of her heart, but like really like quality stuff. Like it wasn't just cheap crap. I mean, that's awesome.
Yes, so that's like my story number 1 today that I'm excited about, but that's pretty much it. Basically, I got cool free shit in the mail, and fuck you,
cool free shit
else.
Is my favorite shit. I love cool free shit. Hey, well, what's your other story? Because I don't have much banter this week. I have some stuff that we're going to be talking about in the news section, but of the actual show. Nothing huge, but I mean, I've only got one movie really to talk about, and not really a whole lot else. What else you got? Do yours first.
Okay, so my other story is, speaking of movies, I'm going to pretend like you just effortlessly segued us into a movie situation. I have made it known on the podcast about 1 million times over that I'm a big fan of the Ghost in the Shell franchise, and I didn't realize this was a thing until about maybe like 6 months ago, and I can't remember if I talked about this on the show or not, but there are websites that do like after movies, like live action movies, like go through production and end production and they're like over and done with. There are certain websites out there that hold online auctions where they like auction off stuff from that was like actually in production from the movies. And a while ago, probably about 6 months ago, there's an online auction store that did an auction for the Ghost in the Shell live action movie with Scarlett Johansson. And whenever I was like, it was live, I like registered to bid, but I was like, I'm probably not going to bid on anything because like I don't know, it's probably going to be expensive. I'm not really sure like what all is going to be here. And it was just like a big, just like a shitload of stuff from the movie. It was like fake, obviously they had like all the fake like guns that they used, and they had like outfits and jackets and costumes and like props and just like all this kind of stuff. They even had like one of the like full size like geishas from the opening sequence of the movie, and they had like Scarlett Johansson, her like thermoptic suit that she wears. They had like 3 different versions of them that were.
What is the name of this website? What is this called?
The one that I use, I think, is called like propauction.com or something like that.
Are these guys like thieves, or are they like somehow working with the studios to offload this shit?
No,
it's
like
work?
legit. Like they must have some kind of deal with the studios because they have like it's like licensed stuff from the movie productions. It's not some weird like eBay seller that's just like selling off all this shit. Right. Yeah, the one that I think it's called propstore.com is the one. I'm sure there's several different kinds, but that's the one that I've been looking or that I've been using. And so what I didn't realize is that sometimes they'll do multiple auctions for one production. So they did a second Ghost in the Shell auction that ended last week, and because I don't know if they're going to do a third one, like I have no idea how much shit they have left from the movie. So I was kind of like watching it like a hawk, like while I was at work, and like because they put it on for about, I think it's like a week or 2 period where you can bid over this period of time, and there's probably about 300 or so items in each auction, and they like stagger down so not everything clears at once. So like say if you bid on like this jacket and then you don't get it, like maybe there's another version of the jacket that'll expire an hour later, so you can kind of like bid down on stuff rather than like placing a million bids at once and then hoping you get them. And whenever the bids are live, whenever they're going to expire, there's like a real-time countdown next to every single item, and if you place a high bid within the last 60 seconds of the item being sold, the counter resets for another minute. So it kind of it kind of
stops like sniping and stuff at the very end, right?
Yeah, so it gives everybody like a fair chance instead of everybody just like spamming the bid button, with like 3 seconds left on the clock.
And then praying to God that you're the one that gets in. Yeah, I hate that, dude. I don't do eBay much these days, but back when I did, that drove me fucking insane. So that sounds like a really good feature.
Yeah, it was definitely really nice. And so there were I had like a wish list of stuff that I was interested in buying, and I guess like really like super duper long story short, there were like a couple of like prop pistols that I was interested in because they had like pistols and like assault rifles and like all this kind of stuff that was like super cool. And they had like Saito, who's like the sniper in Section 9 and Ghost in the Shell, like his sniper rifle was up for auction and everything. And so there were like a couple of pistols that I was interested in. And like I bid on one and I ended up winning it, and I was like, oh my god. And then I bid on another one and I was like, okay, well I already have one, like do I really need to bid on the other one? And like I told myself,
of course I do.
And I told myself that like if the price got to a certain point that I was gonna like pull out and I wasn't gonna bid. And then it only went like $25 higher than my mark, so I was like, okay, I'll just bid once, and if it goes any higher than this, I won't. And then I bid with like 30 seconds left, and the clock resets and it counts back down, and I won that too. So
oh snap, dude!
Yeah, so I'm kind of like embarrassed about how much money I spent on these prop guns for this auction, but I have secured 2 production Ghost in the Shell pistols. One is foam, which is probably going to be really lame, but the other one is like a resin, so it'll be like an actual like kind of like plasticky prop. They have not shipped yet. They're supposed to ship within the next week and then get here, I guess. But
wow, that is exciting. So a couple questions spring to mind. Yes. So number one, tell me offline how much these cost, because I'm very curious. Don't tell it on the air.
You don't want me to tell you on the air?
I mean, if you're comfortable, I figured, some people, get uncomfortable about that. I wasn't going to put you on the spot. I mean, feel free to share if you want to, but don't feel pressure.
Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. And when I I mean, shame on me because, to be frank, this like went on my credit card because I don't have a lot of.
Oh no!
But
wait! We had the credit card talk a million times ago. Did you buy something on your credit card, Corey?
I mean, this stuff, and that's it.
Oh, young man!
I mean, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, Brad.
All right, how much was it?
Well, with both guns put together, with the bids that I put, and the auction fee and shipping, it's, just like no big deal, like $600, nothing major.
Oh, thank God, dude. That's okay. I was expecting a way higher number. I was like, oh my God, I was bracing myself. Okay, that's. I mean, that's a lot of money, but that's not like. But that's not like I went bankrupt money. That's not we got divorced money. That's just like that's okay. That's I was expecting a lot more, so I'm really glad that it wasn't more than that. So okay, whew, good. I can go to sleep well at night knowing that you're not going into debt over prop guns. From
you will sleep better than I do because I was pretty nervous when I was like, oh my god, but the cool thing is that the store lets you do like a payment plan if you want. So you can do like a 3-month payment plan. So even though I put it on my credit card, I'm still doing the payment plan, even though it doesn't really matter. But if you would like let's do a fun little trivia piece before we move off of this. Or actually, hold on. Do you have more questions before I
do have more questions. Okay. Hold on to your trivia.
All right.
So do you know if these pieces were actually filmed or were they just used for like, pre-production, or like were any of these things actually on camera?
There is a description in each item that tells you, and almost everything that I saw on the store was in the movie. Like I could see it on the screen for a bit, and I thought, yeah, that was definitely in the movie. But like some of the stuff, like there are a handful of things where they had like, like one of the pistols I bought, for instance, they had like probably like 5 versions of them on sale in this auction. So like, yeah, maybe like one of them was being held by like the guy in the very background of the frame or something, but it was still like probably on the screen. But there are a handful of things that weren't. Like there were these like samurai sword things that were in auction, and I was like, I kept thinking to myself, like, I do not remember those in the movie. Like, where was it? Just like one random dude in the background that had them. When I clicked on the item, it clearly said like they were used in like pre-production, or like they were used to film a fight scene, but like the scene got cut from the movie or something like that. So
yeah, that's what. Yeah, okay. I was wondering about that because I know a lot of times there's a bunch of stuff made, but then only a small percentage actually makes it on film. So that was interesting that they tell you. That's really cool, actually. So okay, right on. Third thing, not really a question, but send me some pictures of that shit when you get it because I want to see what it looks like.
I will definitely do it. I'm sure I'll be posting them on Twitter, trying to make myself look like a really cool guy with my fake Ghost in the Shell pistols.
You gotta totally get in your bisexual lighting studio. You put on some sunglasses, get the blinds that you had set up the other day, and like totally do like one of those like Terminator, like that iconic that was on the cover of like
I could do that.
Dude, that would be badass. That would be so fucking cool. You have your movie prop gun, post that thing up. That would be sweet as hell.
Oh my god, you're giving me ideas right now.
There you go. Write it down, dude. I want to see that photo. Fuck. When that thing arrives, post it.
Oh my god. Okay, so I have a tiny bit of trivia for you.
Yes, trivia.
Okay, so there are, as you might expect, several items in the auction that maybe people want more than others, and let me see if I can. I'm trying to look on the store right now. The Scarlett Johansson or Major, her thermoptic suit that she wears in the movie, which was the much buzzed about, like skin tight, sort of flesh toned, paneled outfit.
Yeah.
They sold multiple versions of that over both auctions. If you had to guess how much the most recent one sold for in the auction, what would you guess?
Well, I guess it depends on did she wear it, and if she did wear it, did it get washed or not? Because if it was worn and if it's unwashed, that will go for a higher price, guaranteed.
I think everything was worn. I don't know if they did not clarify if it was washed or not.
I guarantee you, people will pay more if it smells like old ScarJo sweat. That will bring in a higher percentage. It's true fact, dude. That's the way the internet works, bro. Smell factor is a thing. So I have literally no idea. I mean, I want to say, I don't know, $2,000 maybe.
Nope.
More?
Way more.
Oh shit! Really? Okay, 10,000. They've got some fucking hardcore pervs out there on the internet, dude. How much? 10,000?
$24,600.
Oh my god! What? That is Dude,
$24,000 for one of her thermoptic suits.
That is fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. I mean, I bet they're crappy too, because stuff that looks really good on camera, when you get up close to it, it looks really shitty and lame a lot of times. I bet those things look like trash up close in real life, but holy cow, I can't imagine paying that much money. Wow.
Yeah.
That blew me away.
It was like wild to watch as the auction was going to just see the counter keep resetting like every minute, and it would just go up because they do it metered where like I think if it's between like $100 and $500, every bid I think has to be like $25 more. But once you get to like the thousands, I think every bid has to be like either $50 or $100 or something like that. So like every time it would just reset and it would go like up by 500 and up by 500 and up by 500. Right, and I was like, oh my God, when is this going to bottom out? And yeah, so that one ended up going for like almost $25,000.
That is fucking ridiculous, dude. That is ridiculous. I would not pay that much money for an old sweaty leotard that Scarlett Johansson wore one time. Like,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's some sort of like museum fund that bought it, for like, what's the Science Museum in Seattle, like something like that, where they have like movie props and stuff. Like, oh
yeah, the museum of the Mopop Museum.
Yeah, like I keep I don't know because obviously they don't disclose like who wins them, but in the back of my mind, I keep thinking like, God, I really hope it's like a museum and not some like fat, sweaty neckbeard who just wants to like smell the Scarlett Johansson.
There you go.
Area. Like, oh my God,
there you go. I think you are closer with the second guess than you are with the first. But anyway, the internet. Hooray.
The internet.
So segueing off that for a second, I actually wasn't going to talk about this, but now that you talked about Ghost in the Shell, I wanted to ask you. So I know you're a big fan of Ghost in the Shell. Does that transfer to other properties as well? Because James Cameron's Battle Angel is out now. Are you a fan of that property or of that at all? Or what's your take on that?
I had never heard of it until I saw the first trailer for it that came out probably like 6 or 10 months ago or something. And like the reviews seem to be very mixed about the movie because the embargo went up. And like, I'm just not like, I hadn't heard of it. So I'm not like, coming to it as a fan, but I'm still undecided on if I want to go see it or not. Because on one hand, I'm like, oh, it's probably like a fun, cybernetic romp. But on the other hand, I'm like, the movie's like 80% CGI, and I'm just not really sure if I'm like up for that. And like the reviews aren't necessarily like pushing me in the direction, but that is a good connection though, because pretty much everything I read about Battle Angel, I keep thinking like, wow, this sounds like exactly like Ghost in the Shell, but just like slightly different. And you'd think that would make me want to see it more, but maybe I just feel so loyal to Ghost in the Shell that I'm like, I don't want to go see that.
Well, it's just interesting because I wasn't sure if you were kind of like, scanning all those anime manga stuff from back then, or was it just the one thing about Ghost in the Shell? Because, like I'm old enough to say I remember when like anime first came to America, like in a big way, when manga first got here. Like I was into that, into the scene where it emerged, and so I remember when people were like, "Oh, what's this? What's this weird comic book from Japan? What's this all about? What's this weird movie from Japan?" Like I remember when it wasn't a thing, and I know that people today probably have no idea like that there ever was a time when that wasn't a common thing and a popular thing, but it was super niche back in the day. I remember when it first came, it was limited to like college campuses because people had bootleg films, and so they would just like get together and you'd go in like some weird dusty room in the back of a building when no class was going on, and there'd be like movies being shown there. I worked at a comic shop. I managed a comic shop at that time, and so we were getting the first wave of stuff being offered, and we were like, what is this all about? We've never seen comics like this before, and maybe we'll take a chance, maybe we won't. We get some stuff in. And Battle Angel was one of the first comics that we ever ordered. Like, it was really back in the day. I believe it was Dark Horse that put it out. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I read as much of the series as I could get my hands on. I really got into it. I loved the art style, very kinetic art style. A lot of the action was really exciting. I thought it was great. And so I actually never really got into Ghost in the Shell because for whatever reason, it just never really popped up on my radar. I was reading other manga at the time. I was watching other anime at the time, and just Ghost in the Shell just never was the big one or the popular one where I was. So I mean, I was wondering like if maybe like in your area Ghost in the Shell was more popular, but you didn't get into Battle Angel or you didn't get into the other ones that were around at the time. So I think maybe we just fell on different sides of the anime spectrum. But I was a huge Battle Angel fan. Still have the original comic books and stuff. And when I first heard whispers that it was maybe becoming a movie, like a decade ago, like it's been in production, or at least has been a thing people have been talking about for, like, it seems like a long time, like at least 10 years. I was like, whoa, that's going to be crazy. How's it even going to work? That's nuts. And, apparently it kept getting pushed back and pushed back for various reasons. But I think, kind of like you said, a big reason it got delayed was because so much of the movie would be impossible to make with practical effects. Like, it just wouldn't work the way that you needed it to. But now that CG is such a thing, James Cameron thought, oh, this is my moment. I'm going to make this happen now. And I got to say, as someone who has been a Battle Angel fan for, like, since the beginning of it being available in America, I'm looking at the trailers and I'm like, just like not excited, and I just don't want to go see it. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I mean, you would think I'd be the day one dude in line, dragging the family to go see this, and I just don't have enthusiasm for it. I think part of it is I've kind of fallen out of love with James Cameron, especially as he's gotten older and a little bit more eccentric. I think he's become more of an asshole, and I just don't really want to support him that much anymore. Especially after reading some interviews with stuff he's done. He just seems like a real dick. And then, I mean, I gotta be just real fucking honest with you, dude. Like, in the trailers, like, okay, so, like, anime is drawn a certain way. I mean, there's a whole history of it. I am not an expert on it. I mean, you can do, like, a PhD on anime and why it is the way it is, what it means, what the styles mean. I mean, there's, like, all sorts. It's like an art form unto itself. Totally legitimate. I respect it that way. Like, it's got its own rules, etc., etc. But, like, like, when you look at a picture of Battle Angel from the manga, and she's drawn, with the big eyes and the small face that comes to, like, a little point and stuff, it's like, okay, that's an art style. That is an art style that this the artist chose to do. Great. But, like, when I look at the trailer of Battle Angel and I see her fucking weird-ass giant anime eyes, I'm like, dude, it's not supposed to look like that. That you don't do that it looks fucking weird. And I don't think that's what the artist intended. I don't think that's how this would have come to fruition if they were involved. I don't know if they are involved. Maybe they are involved, but I don't think they are. But if they are, it seems to me like James Cameron is making his anime fantasies come true on screen for himself. And I'm like, it just looks wrong, and it looks bad, and it looks weird. And I know that I've had this discussion a few times with people. And people are like, well, in the story of Battle Angel, her being alien and being other is a part of the story because she is a cyborg from a couple hundred years ago, and of course she doesn't look the way that modern cyborg. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Yes. But I just don't feel like that's what's going on here. I just feel like this was weird fucking some dude who's got the money to make his anime fantasy come true. He chose to do that, and we're all just along for the ride, and I just feel weird about the whole thing. And I mean, maybe I'll rent it when it hits, like, iTunes or something. I don't think I'm going to drag myself out to the theater to see it. I just feel too weird about it.
Feel too weird about it, like it's some, like, weird guilty pleasure thing or something.
I mean, some kind of weird pervy pleasure thing or something. I mean, I just look at that and I just go, dude, that's not what it's supposed to look like. That's not. You're being a freak, James Cameron. You're being a freak. Put your junk away and just do that in the privacy of your home. Do not put it on screen for everybody. So,
oh my god,
I don't know. This is weird. So anyway, didn't know if there was crossover there. No. If not, no big deal. We're going to move on. I did want to talk about a movie I just watched with the wife, though. This is my last piece of banter, actually, so if you got anything else, feel free to unroll it after this. But the wife and I had a rare evening where we were both awake, and we were both, up for something and spending a little time together. Very rare these days because we're just so busy. And I'm like, oh, I want to watch a movie. And we decided on Looper with Bruce Willis and that other younger guy who... Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Have you seen this movie?
I've seen it twice, as a matter of fact.
Okay, good. So I had never seen it before. I had heard about it, and I'd heard fairly favorable things about it. And it was up for. I think it cost just as much to buy as it did to rent. So I'm like, okay, fine, we're going to buy it, and we'll watch it when we have time. A couple nights ago was that time. And for people who don't know, this is the story. I'm going to probably mangle this. But, like, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a guy who kills people. He's an assassin, but the hook to this is that it's people from the future who are sending people to the past to be killed because if they are killed in the past, there is no evidence left because they are vanished from the future. So that's kind of what he's doing as a job. And what happens is his future self, what the fuck is his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt's future self is he's played by Bruce Willis. And so Bruce Willis gets sent back. It's himself 30 years later, and he's supposed to kill himself to like solve time paradoxes or something like that. Like he needs to kill himself eventually. But he doesn't kill himself, and so it creates all these problems, fucks with the timeline, and then there's this other element to it, which is, I'm not going to spoil too much of it because I didn't know about this whole other thing, but basically that's the gist. It was really interesting. I mean, I like sci-fi that really looks at things in a perspective that's not just about explosions and special effects. And so I felt like they did take more than 5 minutes to think about the storyline. Seeing the two of them together and like how they were interacting was really interesting. And like the choices that future guy was making, how it related to how the present guy was living, and then how they kind of interplayed on each other, I thought was just really fascinating. And the way that they kind of like had this feedback loop of like what one guy did influenced the other, some more directly, some indirectly, just in terms of like how he was thinking or how he's feeling. And I mean, it just was like way more serious and way more thoughtful than I thought it was going to be. Not a perfect film. I mean, you know, like any time travel movie, you know, as my wife so astutely observed, if you think about any time travel movie too hard, like they all kind of fall apart because just, you know, the paradoxes. But I felt like this one was better than most, and I felt like it really took the time. And by the time it got to the end, it had an ending that I felt really good about and really satisfied with. And it just was like a way better and like slightly deeper movie than I was expecting. So I really liked it a lot. What did you think of it?
I want to point out that you're leaving out, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I believe that you're leaving out two important details here that I want to not clarify, but just
all right.
put
Well, I'm trying to avoid spoilers in case anybody sees this. Is it something that's going to spoil people,
This is nothing that's going to spoil people.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, because I probably mangled it. Go ahead. You've seen it.
All right. One of the details is that Emily Blunt has a surprise turn in this movie as this like bad bitch, like Southern farm woman. And she has like a shotgun.
She's been in 2 time travel movies now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like her subgenre. The Emily Blunt time travel movie is like a whole genre unto itself.
And the other detail that you're leaving out, or maybe you did on purpose, or maybe it doesn't matter, but I'm going to say it here anyway, is that this movie was written and directed by the same guy who wrote and directed Star Wars The Last Jedi that came out 2 years ago. Rian Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this was sort of like, because he made a movie called Brick that also had Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it was kind of like...
I saw that. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I have seen it, yes. It's very interesting. It's like kind of like a hard-boiled mystery, but it's all high schoolers.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a strange film. It's a very strange film.
Yes, but it's very good. And then this was his follow-up to that, Looper, and then he went on to make... Star Wars after this. So, I mean, talk about a fucking career trajectory and a half there.
Yeah, dude. He's doing great, dude. I mean, he's 3 for 3 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely... I mean, you can tell just from what he's worked on and knowing that he, like, writes and directs all of his own movies, he's incredibly, like smart and introspective and, like, he just thinks his stuff out really well. But, yeah, I liked Looper. I haven't seen it in a long time. I think the last time I watched it was probably, like, 4 or 5 years ago. Because it's one of those movies that I think like, oh yeah, that came out like a year ago, and it was really like 8 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, totally, dude, totally. It gets worse as you get older, trust me.
But yeah, I liked it. I remember enjoying it at the time, and I remember watching it with my mom and my brother. I think when I went home for like Christmas or something, that was the second time I saw it. But yeah, it's good. I mean, pretty much everything you said and more, though. Maybe perhaps the strangest thing about the film, not any of the time travel, not any of the time looping stuff, but it's the fact that Joseph Gordon-Levitt has weird eye prosthetics for the entire movie to make him look like Bruce Willis, and it's very strange.
That was strange. I mean, I'm glad they did it because, you know, if you squint, it does kind of look like, okay, maybe that's what Bruce Willis looked like 30 years ago, sort of. They had to do something because it just wouldn't have worked if they didn't look like each other. So I'm glad they did something, but yeah, it was pretty strange, especially if you know what he looks like without the makeup on.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, I'm glad you liked it because I think it was pretty popular at the time, and it was definitely like before people really knew who Rian Johnson was, and now he's like nearly a household name. So yeah, very good movie.
Yeah, it's very good. I feel really lucky because we watched Looper. That was really good. I think the last sci-fi movie me and my wife watched was Upgrade, which was also excellent. Did you see that yet?
I still have not seen it.
Fuck, that is a good ass movie, dude. That is a good movie. So we got really lucky, and I'll just to throw this in really quickly. A couple weeks ago, I had a night where I wasn't doing anything, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have to do anything. This is so bizarre. I'm gonna just watch a movie, and I watched Death Race, which was on Netflix, but it's not the old one. I think Roger Corman did the original one, and he did an update too, and they were terrible. I don't know if I'm a Roger Corman fan or not. I honestly can't tell you. But this was one. I forget who the director was, but it starred the English guy. What is the English guy's name? The transporter. What's his name?
Jason Statham.
Yes, he was in that. And it's just like what you would think Death Race is about. He drives cars in the kind of a prison system. They do a pay-per-view thing.
Twisted Metal, the movie.
Literally Twisted Metal, the movie, dude. So I'm not going to recommend it as something that's great sci-fi, but if you want something that's just like shit getting blown up and Jason Statham cracking a few jokes and cool cars with machine guns strapped to the hood, like it totally fit the bill of what I was in the mood for at that time. Like I thought it was great, like B- level, sci-fi kind of trash, but it was good for what it was. Like if you're in the mood for that, I believe it's still on Netflix, and I think it's really good. I tried the other ones that Roger Corman was involved in, and I was like, nah, I'm not wasting any time on these. But that one was a good one. Trashy good trash, whatever. It's trashy goodness. So thumbs up to that one. You haven't seen that by any chance, have you?
I have definitely not, and I probably never will.
I didn't think you would. But if you ever find yourself in the mood for trashy Jason Statham running dudes over with a machine gun spiked car, that is certainly the thing to go watch. So that's all I got, man. You got anything else?
I have told my stories, and I think I am all dried of banter for this week.
All right, cool. Sounds good. I say we wrap it up and start talking about some games.
Yeah, let's talk about some games.
Let's talk about some games.